quick update on this weekend's runners. Starting off at Newcastle on Friday. In the Cup we have Karsov, who's in sparkling form.
Yeah, he won the Wild Cup last start. Same rider, Kieran McAvoy aboard. Extra 200 metres, shouldn't be too much of an issue. Nice draw, it'll be hard to beat again.
And he's certainly bouncing in his track work. So then we have Vassal, who comes down from the Gold Coast stable.
Vassal.
The mighty Vassal.
Big step up in grade, needs to improve, but he will appreciate good draw, good jockey, and the distance. So he's a sneaky chance, but needs to improve.
Okay, into the Cameron, the Group 3. We have Tom Melbourne, Hugh Bowman.
Tom, yeah, Hugh's ridden him in a trial for a win. It was a good run last start, just narrowly beaten. He's drawn okay. He also holds an entry for Saturday, still working out where he might run. Slight leaning towards this race, and then on to the Epsom.
Okay, I Am Coldplay.
Also holds a nomination for Saturday, but this is likely to be where she runs. Reasonable draw and good first up Australian run. I think she'll be competitive.
I'm Serious, drawn awkwardly again.
Yeah, and drawn awkward on Saturday, so slightly leaning towards running in this race. Her last start run was very good. That was over 1900 or 2000.
19. So
coming back sharply in trip, but she's a quality mare.
Okay, Sambro, barrier 10.
Yeah, he was so unlucky last start. The gap didn't appear and he went to the line hard held basically, and the old story, should have won. Most importantly, he's come through the race well, he looks well and will be hard to beat.
Okay, Chaonic.
Yeah, lightweight chance, trying to scrape into the Epsom. His last two runs have been wins and impressive ones at that. Got a good draw, lightweight, obviously big step up in grade, but needs to try and scrape into the Epsom field. If he wins, he will.
And Perrette.
Yes.
It's a couple of scratchings.
Yeah, same story as Chaonic, really. I think he's won his last three.
Correct.
Also holds a nomination for Saturday, as does Chaonic. Perrette have a slight leaning towards waiting till Saturday.
Okay, nipping up to Doomben on Saturday, we have Exoteric, Glenn Collis, barrier 4.
Probably roll forward on him and just make it a bit easier for the riders. He's been getting back and pulling too hard, so I think go forward on him and see how he can stay. Hopefully he can outstay his rivals.
Okay, Rakik, barrier 2, Jeff Lloyd.
Yeah, it takes to Brisbane some good Sydney form, which always stands up. As you said, Jeff Lloyd's aboard. He'll suit this horse, and with all the good gate. A lot of his races he's drawn wide, been getting back and a long way out of it. Last start run was a better run. Questionable at the 2200, but I do think he'll be hard to beat.
And Chatillard, who trialled nicely earlier in the week.
Yeah, needs to improve. He's mixed his form a bit this preparation. The ability's there, but he's lost a bit of confidence. Hopefully his trial on Tuesday will help him get back on track.
Then in race 7 we have Jaminza, Michael Cahill.
Wide gate.
Very nice.
Yeah, wide gate. No problem for him, apart from the fact that it's only a short straight. He actually races better with a bit of room, so just needs a smart ride, getting onto the right horse, or the back of the right horse at the 600, getting a card into the race. We'll see him finish off well.
Okay, in the same race we have Valadero, barrier 1.
Yeah, we'll ride him conservatively. He went a little bit better last start. Out of his grade, but he's better than his last few runs suggest, and I'm sure he'll improve a bit more again.
Okay, race 9, Cedarwood, looking for a bit of luck. Unfortunately, he's drawn barrier 15.
Yeah, there's
with Jag.
probably waiting another week for him, I'd say. He did run well last week from a wide gate, but doesn't really need to back up with a wide draw.
Okay, and Corridon, barrier 17.
Yeah,
Fifth emergency.
needs obviously to gain a start first, and then work out a few runs, but probably be looking for something easier and a better draw.
Okay. Just the one runner down in Flemington, coming through. Good first up win.
Yeah, certainly was. He's running in the Makybe Diva, the Group 1. He's drawn well, Michael Walker rides. I guess it's the best of what Melbourne have got to offer in terms of their weight for age horses, and obviously Humidor's is the class act. I think there's a couple of other up and comers there that deserve respect, but he'll give them a shake. His first up win was very good, and his work since then is good, and he's won at the track and distance before.
Quick preview on this weekend's runners at Randwick. Race 2, the Heritage Stakes, Charge, Barrier 4, James McDonald.
Very good run first up. Well, I don't know if it was first up, but last start. He's had a bit of a freshen up since then. James rides and lovely draw, so he should get a good run. Be hard to beat.
Okay, race 3, the Shootout Mile, another $1, Barrier 1.
Very good first up run. Will appreciate the extra 200 metres. Good draw. Run a nice race.
Instant Derive, you're in 11.
Still finding his way. Does a few things wrong, gets a bit keen. I think you'll end up seeing him race up on the pace. Not sure if we're willing to give up just yet though. It'd be nice to see him taking a sit and just getting a bit of confidence.
And Perrette in 14.
Yeah, Awkward Gate, certainly good enough to win. He's also entered for Friday at Newcastle and earlier or later in the day, where we're leaning towards running, taking on the better horses, but for the better draw. That wide gate just makes things a bit tough, and it wouldn't get him into the Epsom field even if he did win.
Okay, race 5, the Bill Ritchie, Tom Melbourne, Barrier 11. Tom.
Yeah, also holds an on for Friday at Newcastle. Slight leaning towards going to Newcastle, but we'll make a decision Friday morning. Horse is obviously going very well. Good run first up, and taking benefit from that, and he's been pretty chilled out of late, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's heading towards the Epsom. We thought about going fresh straight into the Epsom, but we thought he might have been a bit keen, so Tom can go around on Saturday, and I'm sure he'll run well.
Okay, then we have Chaonic, Barrier 7.
Yeah, also holds a nomination for Friday in the Cameron. So it takes a bit of getting your head around where they're running. What are we leaning towards here?
Yeah, heading towards the Cameron.
Probably head towards the Cameron, but if he did run here, that draw's not too bad.
And Perrette in Barrier 1 with a leaning for
Yeah,
this race.
slight leaning towards this race. Obviously, a very good horse coming through the grades, racing a long way out of his grade here though, so that's the only negative. Good draw, nice run here. Would seem to be very hard to beat in the Epsom, I would feel.
Okay, race 7, the Darley Tea Rose Stakes, Fiesta, Barrier 11.
Yeah, Awkward Gate. Obviously with Huey aboard, he'll weigh up where he's likely to end up pretty quickly in the run, that is. And yeah, she drew wide last start, went back, finished off very well. And this start, yeah, it just needs a bit of luck, but she's certainly going well enough. I think she's the benchmark of the 3-year-old fillies.
Okay, and Madame Rouge in 8. Impressive last start.
She certainly was, obviously in a much easier grade, a midweek at Canterbury against the older mares though. But done everything right since that first up win, and created a good impression last preparation as well. So one that we've looked after to be later developer, albeit only early in her 3-year-old year. But I think she's good enough to measure up to these horses.
I would.
Gate 8 just needs a touch of luck, but you'll see a lot of class on Saturday with this horse.
Okay, race 8, the Kingston Town. We have a big team. 1 Foot in Heaven, Barrier 13.
His first up run was a pass mark. 2,000 metres will suit him better, and he's a lot better this prep than last.
Libran, 18.
What more?
Barrier 18.
Yeah, not ideal. What more can you say about his form? He's dead set flying. Obviously the draw makes things hard. Good jockey, and Hugh Bowman aboard, who's likely to ride him in the Metrop as well.
Correct. Satano Raisin, Barrier 17.
Yeah, his run was also a pass mark first up. Obviously the draw gives him no favours on Saturday, but distance will suit better.
Patrick Aaron.
Finally gets a start. He's missed a couple of runs this preparation through being an emergency. He's drawn well. Tommy Berry rides. Cracking run first up, and we've done plenty of work with him since, so we're confident he'll be fit enough to run well. Second up over 2,000.
Allwood, who ran incredibly well first up.
Ran a blinder at Hawkesbury. 2,000 metres I think is his best distance. He's well drawn well,
yeah.
And well weighted. I think he's a leading chance.
I'm Serious, also in on Friday.
She is drawn wide here and placed in a similar race last start. So yeah, she's a definite chance. We've just got to work out whether we run here or save her, or run it the day before it over the shorter distance. So wherever she goes, she'll be competitive.
Okay, then we have 3 emergencies. Bremen Rocks, barrier 1.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Obviously, we're trying to get him into the Metro.
Yep.
Good run last start, and we're certainly going to improve going into this race. He might scrape into the field, and if he does, he'll run well.
And last start winner, Lord Mayor.
Yeah, basically the same. Trying to head towards a Metro. Needs to run. If not, he'll have to run next week in the 2,000 metre race and back up. But horse is dead set flying. He's come through his first up, well not his first up, his last up win very well.
And Jake's Hill.
Yes, I'd say he'll struggle to get a run. He's a horse we've got identified for the Cups. Obviously needs to get a long way towards qualifying for those races. So doubt he's going to get a run Saturday, but he'll be a winning chance next Saturday.
Quick preview on the Colgate Optic White George Main Stakes over the mile, Group 1, starting off with Who Shot the Barman?
Yes, fresh up from memory. Might have been placed in the race before. If it's not this race, he's been placed behind Winks before, over the mile. He as well, very fresh, and he's done plenty of mileage to get him fit for his longer races, but sharp enough first up. I think he'll struggle to quicken when Winks presses the button, but he won't be tailed off last. He'll run a nice race, and he's in for a good prep ahead. Obviously, we'll target the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, which he won last year and ran second the year before. And if he ticks those boxes or that box, might end up in the Melbourne Cup. So pretty exciting knowing that he's won the Sydney Cup only 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay, then we have Religify, ultra consistent.
Yeah, he is. He's a hard one to place because in the handicaps he gets 60, 61 kilos, and he's not good enough to win with that. I think he's good enough to pick up some of the prize money here, smaller than anticipated field. So Jay Ford retains the ride. He'll run a cheeky race.
Okay, then we have Egg Tart, barrier 6.
The Egg ran a terrific race first up, and she looks to be in for a good preparation. She's one of the horses we've got heading towards the Caulfield Cup. She's a dual Group 1 winner, and she's been a different horse since having the blinkers on. So she'll run a cheeky race.
And Unforgotten.
Class horse. We've had to make a decision where we head with her. We're leaning towards the Epsom and keeping her a bit short of the 2,400 metre distance that she won over in the Oaks. Interestingly, in the Caulfield Cup, I think she's about 66. It's a bit of a stretch when you're
targeting a race you might not get in.
Exactly. Trying to set him for a race, and then you find out on the Tuesday before that you're not in the race. So, look, what we did with Winks in her 4-year-old year, in the spring in particular, I think was the making of her. Unforgotten's actually a bit stronger than Winks at the same stage, there's no doubting that, but that 3-year-old year is pretty hectic on a horse. You see a lot of horses not come back. So if you get to a Caulfield Cup and you say, well, gee, you haven't quite come back as well as what we thought, I reckon you did set burn them, because you run them because you've got that far, and next thing their career's over. So I think we'll take the cautious approach, unless it's obvious after the Epsom that she needs to step out in distance. But Geo at Chelmsford was brilliant. She won't beat Winks.
No?
No. No. She's a very good horse, but let's get something in perspective. Winks is rated the best horse in the world. She runs up to a high rating every start, and whatever you put her up against, she just sets her sights on it and she beats them. So obviously there was the choice to run her in Melbourne, but sending her up and down the country, plus another run over a mile and a trip away, she'd be flat. She wouldn't run in the Epsom. So it's questionable whether she even needed to run here, but look, a mile, she won over at last start. She's a good horse.
Okay, and Winks.
You can talk about Winks. How's she going?
She is flying.
She's fine.
Her work on Monday was outstanding, out of this world.
She always works well though.
Yeah, but
She
Monday
works
was-
as well as you need her to work, and Monday we asked the question a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah,
Track
a day
was-
early,
Yeah, we
as per usual.
worked her left-handed in preparation for just basically using the best part of the track. They ran a race meeting at Rosehill last Saturday, and the track was obviously pretty worn, so we worked to the left-handed, so which meant she used the back straight to finish off her work, which was very good ground. And Huey opened her up a little bit, the 400 metre mark, and
Yeah,
away she went.
and spent most of the rest of the time just trying to slow her down.
Yeah, put the parachute out to stop her. But that's Winks. She'll work as well as you need her to, and we thought just 4 weeks between runs, just a good open up, and obviously still 5 days clear of her first up run is what she needed, and it's pretty similar to what we normally do with her, if not identical. And
We'll
yeah,
obviously work Sydney way tomorrow morning.
yeah, media call Thursday morning as per normal. That gets her on her toes a little bit. Come Saturday, she's pretty chilled out, and hopefully get the job done again.
Perfect. Sounds like a good weekend.